Welcome back to the Windy City MMA YouTube channel. I'm Jordan. This is Lewis, and this is our UFC Vegas 110 Fight Night Garcia versus Onama breakdown. We will start at the bottom of the card per usual, where we have Talita Alencar versus Ariane Carnelossi. Didn't think I was gonna get that right. Talita Alencar is 6-1-1, 2-1 in the UFC, and coming off a decision win over Vanessa Demopoulos, and she is the minus 250 something ish favorite here, going up against Ariane Carnelossi. Ariane is 15-3, and she is 3-2 in the UFC, coming off a DQ win over Piera Rodriguez after intentional headbutts, and she is the plus 210 dog here. What are you thinking?
Just it's a pretty decent fight. It's like a stand up with a little bit of ground, a little bit maybe of some takedowns from Talita, but I like Ariane. She's more of a Muay Thai background, so she's a stand up. She's standing up. But recently it's been more of control and um just positioning. I think Talita's gonna, you know, edge a W out and go into the distance for sure with these two girls.
Yeah, I agree. I think the distance is probably pretty good. Like most people on Tapology are picking Ariane to win this fight, but Alencar remains the heavy favorite. So I don't understand that, but I'm gonna pick Alencar as well. She gets a lot of takedowns. Ariane allows a lot. I won't be betting it though, but give me Toledo. Although if you just look at the pictures, I think you might think different, but we'll move. We got Phil Rowe versus Seok. Now, Phil Rowe is 11-5. He is 4-3 in the UFC, coming off a third round knockout victory over Ange Lusa, and he is the plus 170 dog here fighting Seok Ko. Ko is 12-2. He is 1-0 in the UFC, coming off a unanimous decision victory over Oban Elliott in his UFC debut, where he was a big underdog, and he looked very good. And he is the minus 205 favorite here. This is kind of a fun fight.
It is.
I
Yep.
like Oban. I like Oban a lot, and Ko beat him pretty bad. Um, both these guys have nice power. I don't have a strong side on this fight because I'm never crazy on UFC fighters in their second fight after they overperform in their first. It's kind of like a weird thing. I don't know why. Like I like guys who underperform in their first fight to win their second fight by spectacular fashion, but vice versa, I'm not a big fan of in their second fight. And like I think you mentioned last week, Koreans have been on a very bad run recently. They've been
True.
losing a lot. That being said, I'm still going to take Ko. I think he has the power and ability to get takedowns, as we saw against Oban, and frustrate Rowe and get another victory, start 2-0 in the UFC. Don't know if it'll be a finish. Rowe's only been finished in his MMA debut and never in the UFC. So maybe a co-decision, but I'm going to take him. What are you thinking?
Yeah, this is a kind of an even fight for me. The only thing that pushed me more on Phil would be the height advantage for his side and the
True.
UFC experience. He's a pretty decent dog. And yeah, the biggest thing is he has more experience in the UFC. And like you said, if you just debut in the UFC, it's hard for you to win your second fight. You
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you did it
I
on
mean,
the first fight. You showed a lot, and I think he showed enough that Phil Rowe is gonna have, a good 15 minutes in his hand to get his hand raised.
yeah, figure
I
him out.
think this is for sure. I'm gonna bet on the fight to go the distance for sure on this fight.
I like that. Yeah. Like I said,
Yeah,
maybe co by decision, maybe get a split
yeah,
majority decision type of thing going. Um, Co wins the first, maybe the second's a toss up, and Fro wins the third. But I don't know. Ko looked good in against Oban. I regard Oban pretty high, even though he's, winning and losing. I regard him pretty high. But we're both like the fight to go the distance. Maybe Ko. I don't know. We'll move. Alice Ardelean versus Montserrat Conejo Ruiz. Now, Conejo is 10-4. She is 1-3 in the UFC and on a three-fight losing streak, getting knocked out in all three, most recently to Eduardo Mora. And she is the plus 300 dog in this fight going up against Alice Ardelean. Ardelean is 10-7. 1-2 in the UFC, and coming off a decision victory over Rayanne dos Santos, and she is the minus 380 favorite. What are you thinking?
I think this is going to be the winner who has I mean the fighter who has the most position in the 3 rounds on the ground is going to be the winner. I
Yeah,
like both of them to get their takedowns. They're pretty decent, I guess, on the ground. There's no one who I really think is gonna have the upper hand on the ground. But if it's on the striking, I really like Alice Montserrat. Oh, she's 0-3 right now and getting knocked out.
yeah,
And it's not really a good look for her. They're around the same age. And again, another thing is the height disadvantage for Conejo. I'm taking Alice by decision. I'm a little scared to take the decision part just because of the knockouts
yeah,
on her opponent's end. So I like Alice too with this fight.
yeah. I agree with you. And like you said, she's been finished the last three. I still think the odds are wide, even with that, just because it is a mid-level, lower
Exactly.
level women's MMA fight, which always means it could be close. Either way, I'm taking Ardelean as well. She has decent takedown defense, and that's what Conejo will probably try to do here. Alice will be busier on the feet, probably by a lot, and pick up a victory here. Probably, maybe another finish. I don't know, maybe decision, but Alice Ardelean is the pick. Probably no bets. We move Ketlen Vieira versus Norma Dumont. Now, Ketlen Vieira is 15-4. She is 9-4 in the UFC, coming off a decision win over Macy Chasson, and she's a plus 120 dog here, going up against Norma Dumont. Dumont is 12-2, 8-2 in the UFC, on a 5-fight win streak, most recently over Irene Aldana, which was a good scrap, actually. She bloodied Aldana
Yes.
up, and it could be a very good fight, and it actually means something for the division. I'm gonna take Norma Dumont. I think she's a dog. She showed it in her last fight, went to war, battered Irene Aldana up, and I'm taking her to win this fight here. What are you thinking?
Yes. Exact same thing. I like it. I like for Dumont to have this on the feet. She
Yeah,
is a better fighter on the feet. She can get you with elbows, straights, corner you into the by the cage. But the one thing I do not really like is that she is not that good in getting takedowns. In case that Ketlen gets her hits her with a good punch, she's gonna dive for for a takedown, which she did in her second fight, her second to last fight, sorry, and didn't get the takedown. Last fight against Irene, sorry, Aldana, she did not get any takedowns as well. Ketlen, on the other hand, is a very good ground jiu-jitsu fighter. Based on that, I really think Norma has the better resume as of now. Last fight showed it. I'm taking Norma. Um, yeah, just by Norma. I'm not taking her by any other. Not too sure.
yeah,
She can end the fight on the feet.
yeah,
She had it last fight, except Aldana is Mexican. These
yeah.
Mexicans
True.
are yeah,
Can
that
take some damage.
yes.
That's fair. So we're both on the Norma Dumont side here. We will
Yep.
move to the next fight, Donte Johnson versus Sedriques Dumas. Donte Johnson is 6-0. He is making his UFC debut here after a first round knockout victory on the Dana White's Contender Series in August, and he is the minus 300 favorite going up against Sedriques Dumas. Dumas is 10-3, 3-3-1 in the UFC with or 3-3-1 no contest in the UFC, coming off the no contest against Zachary Ruiz, where he couldn't continue after a low blow. Dumas, that is. I'm taking Johnson, probably taking him by knockout. Dumas has so many problems, especially in his personal life. Dude's fight before the Reese one got canceled because he couldn't get in front of a judge to get his ankle monitor off. Then the Reese fight happened, where it seemed like he might have just been in there for a payday. I don't know. Obviously, I can't speak to that. Um, so hopefully this one happens and Dumas will probably get cut after this fight. I don't really know, but give me Donte Johnson probably by knockout. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Dante Johnson by knockout, but I do like the round two or round three prop. I think the round
Okay.
one, Sedriques is a very good at. keeping the distance, as we saw in the Zachary Reese fight. There was slight chances where they both hit each other and they both got some damage. But the beginning of the fight was usually just distance management, in and out movements, and which resulted in, a low blow. Um, I think Dante Johnson shouldn't blitz in, kind of like what he did in the Contender Series, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. He kind of blitzed in, I guess, because he knew it was like a lower. Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say, let me ask you this, doubling on what you're saying.
Okay.
He's knocking everyone out in the first round. Do you think there's any
Okay.
merit to Sedriques Dumas by submission in this fight? Because
Sedriques
Dumas
would
has it.
would
He has sneaky submissions and he can
yes.
do it. And if we haven't seen Johnson far, if they get out of this first round, like, or
I
even if they
can see
don't,
that.
even if Johnson just can't get what he wants to get, and if he blitzes and, you know, Dumas catches him in a guillotine or like gets him down somehow, like,
Hmm.
do you think there's any merit to that? I don't know. I
No,
think,
there might be a chance because he is the lengthier fighter compared to Dante Johnson. Johnson is more like a bulkier muscle type, and
yeah,
well, you can see he's a more compact guy rather than Sedriques Dumas.
yeah.
Dumas is more like a Kevin Holland type of fighter, lengthy, but by no means is a jiu-jitsu on the same level. Um, there is a possibility. I do see that. Supposedly Dumas has been taking those jiu-jitsu classes that's shown on Instagram with his white belt.
Yeah.
Uh, so there might be, yeah, I do see that. We haven't seen Dante Johnson. I don't know if that cut from light heavyweight
Dude,
to
he fought in heavyweight at
middle.
the, but
Oh yeah, heavyweight.
this is his like natural weight though. He took that on short notice. So he's like
Okay,
fighting in his natural weight now, or his like natural cutting weight, I should say.
gotcha. Okay, okay.
But yeah, that I mean that could be too. Maybe he just has that much power, and that hopefully it translates to this division. Who knows?
Yeah, that too. Damn, I didn't take that one into consideration. That's true. Yeah.
But are you thinking you're on Johnson too? Probably by knockout though.
Yeah, I like that. But I do see a world because Dante John, we haven't seen him, like you said, first round knockouts, all six fights. We haven't really seen him in the second round, so I don't know if that gas tank, how that gas tank is.
Yeah,
That is a good question. Yeah, I would play that
we could
for
see what
for a
the
long
odds look
shot.
like. Yeah, see what the
Yeah, I
odds look
like
like
that.
for sure. Okay, so we're both teetering on this fight. We'll move. We'll move. We'll come back. Maybe we'll post something out. Timmy
Yeah.
Cuamba versus Chang Ho Lee. Cuamba is 9-3, 1-2 in the UFC, coming off a second round flying knee victory over Roberto Romero, and he is the minus 135 favorite here. I think these odds have gotten a little bit closer actually. Going up against Chang Ho Lee. Lee is 11-1, 2-0 in the UFC, coming off a second round knockout victory over Cortelius Romeus, and he is the plus 114 dog here. But like I said, I think he's like minus 105. He's like, it's getting closer. What are you thinking?
I think this is a very, very fun fight. One underrated fight for sure because I
100%.
guess the name quality.
Yep.
But Chang Ho Lee in road to the UFC. Holy Lee.
Holy.
Holy. Oh my. I I'm high on Lee. The only thing is like the South Koreans aren't doing good. I know he's his own fighter, but oh my God. I'm taking Lee on this one. I'm going away from that South Korean thing. I like this underdog play. They're almost at the same height. I know the UFC experience isn't there yet, but Cuamba isn't UFC material either with those two L's on his record. I like Lee with the pressure, Lee with the hands, Lee with the legs. Give me Lee to win this fight.
I agree with you. I think he's going to be busier. I think he's going to be able to land more. And I just think he's better all around. Hopefully he doesn't get out dogged like we've seen, like you said, with these Korean fighters, but I like him especially as a dog. I'll take Chang Ho Lee as well. We will move. Billy Elekana versus Kevin Christian. Christian is 9-2, and he is making his UFC debut after a first round armbar victory on the Dana White's Contender Series, and he is a plus 200-ish dog here, going up against Billy Elekana. Elekana is 8-2, 1-1 in the UFC, coming off a decision victory over Ibo Aslan, and he is the minus 240-ish favorite. What are you thinking?
Yeah, man. Billy beat my boy. He won
Dude,
Aslan, man. Ah,
I was
that was
upset
the
too.
fight. Yeah, that was. Oh my God. Regarding that, I am taking Kevin Christian, uh, solely based on two things, and it's already been throughout this whole card. A height disadvantage. Height disadvantage plays a really big part either in the striking and on the ground. Kevin Christian has what, four four wins by knockout, five wins by submission. Give me him to end this fight by any means possible. I think he will get a submission just because of how Guskov beat Billy with a submission.
Yeah.
I think he's reviewing that tape and getting ready to do that with that 4-inch height advantage. I like it. Give me Christian to win this fight.
I honestly really like that too. I do too. I've been thinking about this. Gun to my head, I picked Billy Elekana to win just because I think he can throw some bombs and he
Yeah,
beat
that
Ebo. He beat Ebo, which I really like Ebo. Um, and Christian was getting takedowns and or no, that's what I was gonna say. If Christian was getting takedowns and finding submissions, I would be more enticed to take him. But he's not getting the takedowns. He's just finding subs after getting to the ground. So, which is the reason, gun to my head, I'm picking Elekana. Um, so I'm
got you.
taking
Okay.
Elekana on the like just as the pick, but I wouldn't put money on him as a minus 200 favorite, in my opinion. I would look at Christian if I'm going to put money anywhere, maybe the sub, or if fight doesn't and then go the distance, Elekana KO, Christian sub, something along those lines.
Yeah.
But
Okay, that's the good one. Not to go the distance so we can play both
see
sides.
what those look like. Yeah. We will move to the main card of the evening. Brand
Let's
new
go.
catchweight fight. Allan Nascimento versus Cody Durden. Nascimento is 21-6. He is 3-1 in the UFC, coming off a decision win over Jeffo Filho. And he is a minus 200 something favorite. The odds just came out earlier today because it just got announced. Durden, he's facing, and Durden is 17-8-1, 6-6-1 in the UFC, coming off that second round knockout loss to Jose Ochoa, and he is a plus 200-ish dog. Odds are moving, just came out. This fight was originally Nascimento against Estevam, but Estevam withdrew. Durden has stepped in, and this is a fun fight. It's a scrap. Durden's not terrible. I'm gonna keep it short. I'm gonna take Nascimento to win this fight. Durden stepping in on short notice has off a KO loss, lost four of his last five, three by finish. I'm gonna take Nascimento. What are we thinking?
Yeah, same thing. I don't really like when fighters take last minute fights, even if it's a month, 3 weeks in, or a week out. Uh, even if they've been on camp, they haven't
Yeah,
made too much time on their opponent. They haven't seen what their opponent has done. I like Allan Nascimento. Yeah, I'm gonna
there you
take him.
go.
Plus, Durden's from American Top Team, man. Not doing that guy. I don't know what's going on with these. There's a
APC
lot of stuff
guys.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Okay, we will move. Charles Radtke versus Daniel Frunza. Charles Radtke is 10-5. He is 3-2 in the UFC, and he is coming off that second round knockout loss to Mike Malott, and he is the minus 160 favorite here. Going against Daniel Frunza. Frunza is 9-3, 0-1 in the UFC, coming off that doctor stoppage loss after the first round of Reese McKee, where he was bloody and he got knocked down a lot. And he's the plus 130 dog here. What are you thinking?
All right. This is a very fun fight. Even though both are coming off of losses, I hope this doesn't end in the first round. I want to see this fight go second and third round. This is a pretty. I like this fight in the main card. Pretty
Yeah,
underrated, mainly because of Daniel Frunza. People don't know much about him, but he is one of the more, I want to say, like, even though he's a bigger guy, you can see right here in the picture, but he is more heavy on the volley, which means like I like when he just keeps moving forward, even though he's a bigger guy, he's throwing three more than the opponent, two to three more strikes per than the opponent's one strike. That's the main thing I like from him. He has a height advantage, and I just like his pressure. Charles Radtke, he's had his fair share of fights in the UFC, and I think it's Frunza's time to get a first W in the UFC. I like Frunza's part. I think he might get this done. It's a pretty kind of like a long shot, even though the lines don't seem that way. I like Frunza to get the upset on here.
Wow, I don't
That's a
know.
very that's a very I saw two. Well, I'll tell you after.
Okay,
After,
I'm
so we don't take too much. Yeah,
yeah, it's fine. I'm on the opposite side. I'm taking Radtke here,
I saw.
just because I think he's really tough. He lands takedowns. I think he'll be the better wrestler. He also fights out of VFS, which is a decent team. Probably by decision. I don't think I'm gonna have any bets on it. It's just like I'm not confident, and I'm after hearing your side, not confident at
Yeah.
all. But I'm gonna pick Charles Radtke. We'll move. We'll move. Isaac Dulgarian versus Yadir Devale. Isaac Dulgarian is 7-1. He is 2-1 in the UFC, coming off a second round submission win over Brendan Marote. He is a minus 250 favorite here, going up against Yadir Devale. Vale is 9-0, 1-0 in the UFC, coming off the first round submission win over Connor Matthews in his debut, and he is the plus 200-ish dog. This might be one of my favorite fights on the card. It could be a very fun one. I think the odds are correct just because Dulgarian is a big step up from Connor Matthews. And I'm gonna take Dulgarian because I think it is a very big step up from Connor Matthews. Um, but I also don't think Yadir should be counted out because I think he's very good, and I think Isaac isn't as good as his record or how everyone may think he is. I don't like if that makes sense. So I'm gonna pick Isaac, but I don't think I'll have any bets on him. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I like Isaac based off his wrestling background, very high level. Yadir is he has his subs wins, but like you said, this is a big step up. The only thing that where I can see Yadir winning this fight is in the second or third round, overcoming that exhaustion, which I
Yeah,
think I've seen, and he's Isaac started to show a little bit at it in his last fight, even though he got the W, I think by sub, in the second or third round. But do remember seeing him a little bit slowing down then in the first round. Yadir has a chance to win this fight, but I'm taking
100%.
Isaac. Big step up, a little bit more UFC experience, and has
Yep.
that wrestling background, just very high level wrestling. Give me
Yeah.
Isaac to win this fight. Yep.
Cool. Isaac Dogarian. We will move Jeremiah Wells versus Themba Karimbo. Wells is 12-4-1, 4-2 in the UFC. He is on a two-fight losing streak, most recently split decision loss to Max Griffin. Before that, he lost to Carlston Harris by third round sub after being up 2-0, and I was actually at that fight. And he is the plus 115-ish dog here, going up against Themba Garimbo. Garimbo is 14-5, also 4-3 in the 4-3 in the UFC, coming off that first round sub loss to Vicente Luque, snapping Garimbo's four-fight win streak. Personally, I don't think Themba is that good at all. Like, not at all. I just don't think he's as good as, the hype was around him. He has an
Hmm.
unbelievable story, with the whole thing with The Rock, but I just don't think he's an amazing fighter in general. That being said, I'm picking him here. I like him to win a lot because I just don't think Wells is. I think he's better than Wells. I think he's better than Wells. I don't like Wells's
Yeah.
loss to Griffin. He was winning the Harris fight and then he got subbed. So, like, there's possibility late. So give me Themba to get a. And plus, Themba needs a bounce back win. He lost to Luque. He was on a tear before. I just don't think. I think this is a fight to get Garimba back in the win column. What are you thinking? Or Garimbo?
Yeah, I like Themba to win this fight, especially that L against Vicente, that old Vicente Luque. Don't know how, man. But
Yeah,
yeah, okay. Guerrero got caught. He showed a lot of emotion after that fight, and when people show that type of emotion on live television, something tells me they're gonna do a lot of things in their power to never be in that situation ever again.
right.
On the other hand, Jamar Wells, yeah. The other hand, Jamar Wells is an exciting, explosive fighter. He's almost like a, a smaller Joaquin Buckley type. Goes in with wild overhands, overhooks. I like his style, but against Garimbo with that, what is that, 3, 4 inch height disadvantage, I don't think, and he has a little bit more of advantage in the on the ground as well on Garimbo's side. Got that jujitsu, got that a little bit of wrestling background. Um, Yeah, I just think I don't know if he's gonna be that eager to finish the fight because that's what I think he was trying to do with Luke, and that's what caused him to make a
Yeah.
mistake. I think this time he's gonna keep it a little more position wise and just being on top. And look, if the sub comes in, sub comes in. But I'm taking Themba to with a bounce back win. I don't want to see Wells cut though. Wells is a
He
firefighter.
is.
I don't want to see him cut, even though it's gonna be what a 3 fight losing streak.
Yes.
It
Two
will
or
be if
three.
he loses. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If he loses three, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're both on Thumber here and more technical fight out of him. We will move co-main event of the evening, Walter Cortes-Acosta versus Ante Delija. Cortes-Acosta is 14-2, 7-2 in the UFC, coming off that decision loss to Sergey Pavlovich, and he is the slight -115 favorite. I think these have switched. I think he's a plus 115 now. Going up against Ante Delija. Delija is 26-6, 1-0 in the UFC, coming off that first round knockout victory over Marcin Tybura in his debut, and I believe he is a -120, -130 favorite now. Delija is Tom Aspinall's training partner. You know he has great heavyweight training partners. I'm picking him to win this fight. I think he's better everywhere. Um, and I think he can get the takedowns and wrestle or throw bombs or whatever is needed to win this fight if the game plan does not go to plan. So I'm going to take Ante Delija to win this fight. What are you thinking?
Yeah. Same thing with you. I like Ante. He's had that. Of course, Tom Aspinall. What better training partner than him at this moment? Um, I was very I wasn't high on Waldo, but I liked how he is a heavyweight fighter that bounces and moves, kind of like
Yeah,
what
he's
Serial Gone
athletic.
was doing this weekend. Yes, very
Yeah.
athletic for the heavyweight division, and he's very close to the limit. Or is it 250 pounds? He's very close to the
Oh,
two
he's
six.
even
Yeah,
more.
exactly. He's
Yeah.
very close and very athletic for him. Um, well, on the other hand, Ante is also athletic as well, both
He
on the
is. He's
ground
fast.
and yes, he is fast. I haven't seen him I, while watching the PFL. I'd never seen him fight on the PFL, but last fight he was the faster fighter. I think this fight will for sure go the second round. I like what Waldo does. He doesn't like he's a more touch and I'm out. He's not in there to get as he's shown in the Pavlovich fight. He got caught sometimes. After that, in the first round, after the third minute, he got clocked by Pavlovich, and since then, getting on the distance. I like Ante. I would want to say the over 1.5. Let's see how the odds are on that. A lot of
Yeah.
people are probably going to be under
Yeah.
because of Ante's first round. Yeah, yeah. I like it going over 1.5.
I like that.
Ante's side for sure.
While they're playing it, trying to play a little safe. If he gets in trouble, just kind of trying to stall out the round. I like
Yeah,
that.
he's done that in almost all his fights except the Robelia with Despain
Football is Spain.
guy.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean,
Well, he just,
take
yeah.
them to the ground. That's different. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Taekwondo guys one kryptonite.
Yeah, exactly. So we're both on the leisure side, but we like the over 1.5 in this fight. We will move to the main event of the evening, Steve Garcia versus David Onama. Garcia is 18-5, 7-2 in the UFC on a 6-fight win streak, five of them coming by knockout, and most recently a decision win over Calvin Kattar. He is the -130 favorite going up against David Onama. Onama is 14-2, 6-2 in the UFC on a 4-fight win streak, a most recently decision win over Giga Chikadze. He's the +110 dog here. What are you thinking in our main event?
This main event is very what do I want to say? Like just based off the name wise, people aren't
Anti-click,
even
yeah.
happy about this. Yes. This is a very exciting fight. Steve
Yeah.
Garcia is an animal. Last fight he shown five was it sorry, 3 to 5 rounds with Calvin Kattar.
Yeah,
That was a very hard a step up in fight. I think in this one might be a slight step down in fight, or if anything, it's the
I
same
agree.
level with David Onama. And the only thing I would say is David Onama has that takedown pressure that Steve Garcia wasn't really used to. He likes to stay on the feet, as shown in the last fight. If David Onama gets him to the ground, I have a hard chance. I have a hard time thinking that Steve Garcia might be able to recover from that. Because
Okay.
David Onama on the ground, he's going to bring some hell down. I like his style. Gun to my head, like you say, I'm picking Steve Garcia, knockout right in that. For this right now, I'm still picking Steve Garcia. I want to see him win. Don't want to see David Onama knocked out. Want to see it go at least 4 or 5 rounds. Or on his other side, I'm picking Steve, but this
Yeah.
is a very, very
It's a
exciting
close one.
fight on both
Yeah,
ends. Yes,
for sure. And like
I
you
like
said,
it.
it's exciting and it matters. It's number 12
Exactly.
versus number 13. The winner will get a big fight, most likely. But to be honest, I don't I don't know why. Maybe it's just my own mental thoughts. I don't understand the crazy hype around David Onama. He's not bad for sure. I just don't understand the crazy hype about this main event. It should be a good scrap, obviously. But I'm gonna take Steve Garcia here, and honestly, maybe a knockout, like you said, maybe in the later rounds or to win a clear decision. I'm on the same
Yeah,
side as you, but I don't know. And that could be nothing. Maybe it's just because I don't watch Onama enough. You know what I mean? Some of these guys, I'm just
that's
like,
true.
maybe I just don't think about them and watch them enough to be like, oh, there's a lot around him. Obviously going into the weeks, I look at the fighters and, whatever, watch them as they're live. But maybe I just don't remember it enough or how dominant he is in general. I don't know. But either way, I'm picking Steve Garcia as well. Well,
But
thank you everyone for watching. That was our UFC Vegas 110 Garcia versus Onama fight night. I hope you guys enjoyed. We will see you next time. Peace.